we're due to start. So, week 1, computer problems, new computer. Week 2, broadband issues, upgraded the iPhone, unlimited data package, so we should have broadband. What could go wrong this week? Well, what could go wrong this week is this piece of wood. It's a bit of horse chestnut burr. There's a bit of rot in here, as you can see. And what we're going to do is make a holoform with some colour, and then it's going to have voids coming through the side. So what we're going to do is first rough out our centre marks, and for this I'm going to use a caliper compass. And if I go to overhead, there, hopefully that's overhead. We're just going to mark the centre, bring it out roughly to our size here, and get a rough idea of where our circle will go. So somewhere there, that will be a pickup point. And then on the other side, we're going to guesstimate something that's about there and there. So I'm going to put a marker in there. Looks like we might have a bit of dust on the camera. Joe's on the case already. Now we've got to choose what ends what. So this rot here, we want to turn away. So this end's going to be the neck. This is more solid wood here. This is going to be the base, and this is going to be our mounting, so we can get it into a truck. What I'm going to do is I've got a step drive in here. Bring up my tailstock and mount this on that point there. Now obviously we're going to have to turn this slow at first, because this piece of wood is going to be well out of balance. So if I just bring up the quill, trap it between centres, and then, as I've said before, if I use the knockout bar to drive this step home and then give the live centre another tighten up and lock everything down, we should be good. Now hopefully we might get a little bit of slip on the wood, but we're going to take things nice and easy and slow. I bring the tool rest up, and on pieces of work like this, it's always important to test and make sure we're not going to get a hit anywhere. I want the tool rest as close as possible. Whoop, the camera's gone. Hold on a second.
Trying to get an overhead that actually shows all of it.
Go on to the script OBS, and then you can get a live view.
Too much.
Right, we can see that. Now, if we go on to our 2-camera mode, if you leave it on Stream Deck, Joe will start reading out the comments in a minute. Now, because this is a precarious piece of wood, let's call it a precarious piece of wood, what we're going to do is use a face shield to start with.
Which two one are you going for?
2, there's 1 in 1. We're going to use a face shield to start with, so we can watch what's going on here.
Over the top first, or do you want that one?
That's fine, over the top. Right, so hopefully you can hear me as well. So I'm trapped in this face shield. This is turning freely. I make sure the speed is turned down on the lathe. Turn it on and stand out the way as we slowly turn it up.
Joe runs for his life.
Joe's done a runner. There we go. Now we're spinning at about 500 at the moment. That'll do. With our tool rest low and our handle back, I'm just going to slide the tool along and cut the ghost. These are real gentle fine cuts, the first couple. As I go forward, all I do is raise my handle just a little bit more. Just real gentle, slide it up. Here's the start of the cut. Here we go. No heroics here, just gentle cut. Now I should have knocked down all my high points, so I'm just going to stop the lathe. Bring the tool rest up a bit more. There. And now we start again. And now we'll increase the speed a little. There's vibration at 700, so I'm just going to back it off. We're now running at about 650, something like that. This is one of those where the wood is telling us what speed we can turn at. Another gentle cut here, I'm just picking the cut up. And I'm watching the horizon of the wood. So I can see the cut line as I go along. And as I make the cut, I just leave my weight. So I look up here at the top, pick my cut up, and just lean slowly across the lathe bed. The tool doesn't meet my side, the wrists don't move. Now a lot of people when I'm teaching say, how's it best to hold the gouge at the top, near the tool rest? But the answer to that is with your hand, your side of the tool rest. Don't expect you to put it over the other side, it hurts. Not that I've ever done that at all. But you can use a sort of pinch grip like this or an over grip like this. It's whatever feels comfortable to you. Another cut there, and then we check the wood. We'll stop the lathe there and have a look. Right, we're nearly round, couple of flat spots here, so we'll just have a couple more cuts. But you can see the grain here. This is going to take colour really well through here, and then we've got this sort of sporting going through, so we'll have a contrast of pieces. While I've stopped the lathe, I'll just move my tool rest up again. Now when I'm turning to shape, I'm going to turn him round. I'm going to start putting some shape in it. So I'm going to start midway and come backwards. Trying to remove this softwood. I'm just going in a little cut, each cut to see what we're going to be dealing with. Right, I think we'll get rid of that rock in a few more cuts, so that'll be alright. So now we're going to start down the bottom, but what I'm going to do first is level this base off. So I'll bring the tool rest around and then just get it on as a sideward thing there. I've got a load of shavings between me tail stop and me banjo. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. That's right. And I'm just going to turn this by hand, get this as close as possible. Yeah. Yeah. Turn it back on. And then we're just going to come in and flatten this bottom off. As I come in, I just start raising the handle a little. Right, a little bit more there. I'm just going to move the tool rest in a bit. So I've been using a half-inch bowl gouge there. They're the Golden Excelsior type. I think they catch the edge a bit better. Now I'm going over to my 3/8. I want to get into that middle a bit more. Right handle as it goes. I'm cutting just under the tip. The bevel's rubbing as I go in. I'm feeding this in now towards the live centre. Now I'm going to leave a fair sized pip in the middle for a moment because I want to be sure that this wood's not going to break away. So now I'm going to turn a bit of wood off from the depth of my spigot. See if we can get a bit more speed in the lathe. That's better, we're getting up to 900 or so. It's getting more in balance. Somewhere there will do it. Same again. And again. And again. Somewhere there. Now, we're going to do a full depth spigot on this. Not that it's a big piece of wood, but of course it has got a few issues possibly. So the spigot wants to be about 11mm deep. Just a little bit less than I've done there. So I'm just going to take a little cut off of here. Now I'm going to take this tip down a bit. Done it there. What I want to do is get this piece of wood in the chuck as soon as possible. Need to take another mil off of there, I think. Somewhere there. And now we'll mark our now we'll mark our spigot out. So my spigot on my jaws is 42mm. So I turn the spigot to 46mm. Using the left hand fault of the vernier, centralise the live centre between the 2 points, start scribing a line. Make sure that line marries up with the right hand fork. Don't touch the right hand fork in the wood. You know what happens? You get the person behind you. There's me line. So that's ready for my spigot. Anybody watching before knows I cut my spigots with a skew, so I'm just going to bring my tool rest round at a bit of an angle, make sure I'm clear, and I'm just going to remove a bit of waste wood here because we'll set up a dead area. That'll be our dead area. And now we can go in with the skew and just make our dovetail. I've got something bouncing on the tip, so it's a bit rough. I'll just raise the tip up a bit. Bring that tool rest round. If I find it's too rough, then I'll go to cutting my spigot with a detailed spindle gouge, but I think we'll be alright. That's better. Just use my handles are coming to meet up with that line. Last one. And when I get into the base now, I'll put in there, lift the handle, lift those ranges clockwise to flatten that off. Then I'll just come in at a different angle just to flatten that spigot down a bit. There. Now what I want to do is make sure that that spigot is true. And that looks true enough to me. I've got a bit of dead wood and I've got my spigot. Now what I'm going to do is move it into a chuck sooner rather than later. I always deal with odd pieces of wood like this in this way. So I'll get this off, out of the way. Oop, there. Knock the drive centre out. Got that up there. The old faithful chuck, which is in disguise. You can see it's been sprayed with a bit of colour. I don't know how that happened. And then there's a tip for people if you're new to turning, rather than putting washers in your chuck, just use something, give it a tap, take the slack out of it, so if anything goes wrong there's no perpetual motion. I'm just going to move this up, key. We're going to mount this now into the chuck. I'll come down. Now I shouldn't be able to get a £5 note between my jaw set. I've got a little problem here. Just a little one. Mainly me. That's better. So I shouldn't be able to get. Now I've got a bit of movement on this. Now I think the wood might be slightly. I won't know what's happened. Right. I've left this centre thing pit here too wide and it's catching the jaw. So hold on a second. I'm looking for my chuck stead drive rather than take the chuck off the lathe. I'm going to insert the chuck stead drive into the chuck like so. Put this back between centres like so. And I've just got to take that centre pit, this bit, down so it doesn't interfere with the chuck. And at the moment it's interfering with the chuck. I'm trying to leave it a bit bigger to start with, and to be quite honest, I forgot. Right, I've just made that a lot smaller so it doesn't foul when we put it in the truck. That should fix the problem. So, drive centre step out. Back in the jaws. That's better, there's no wobble there. So, what I'm going to do is just bring the tailstock up, let the truck off a bit, wind the live centre in to make sure that's pushed into the jaws, tighten down on that and make sure I can't see anywhere in there where I can get a £5 note. So, I turn the lathe speed down, advance it, and that's running fairly true. Now we can start putting our shape in it. Bring the tool rest up here. Okay. Now I've got my 3/8 bolt gouge. Turn the speed up a bit. Give that bounce down a bit. Stop fire. And now we're just going to start putting some shape. In the bottom of this form. So I've got the side bevel, and as I twist away from the lathe from the right hip, I raise the handle, and that creates our curve. I can get rid of some of this deadwood here. Don't need that. So I'm just slowly working my way back. I'm going to carry on working my way back. Underneath there, get rid of some of this. Got a curve there. Now we're going to work on the top, get rid of this dead wood, and then we'll fine tune the shape. I've got a bit of torn grain there where I'm just ripping the wood away at the moment, but this is just to give us our shape. Back of the bevel, handle forward towards the lathe, pick up the cut, and now I'm twisting away from the lathe. So back of the bevel, handle towards the lathe, pick up the cut, still twisting with it. And then I'm twisting myself away from the lathe. Back of the bevel, forward with the handle, pick the cut up. Twist it away. Now what I'm looking for is to get rid of that rock. So I'm going to come in again. More. Twist towards the lathe, get to this point, push the handle, twist away from the lathe. That's not too bad. We're going to have a void there. That's what we want, a void there. And this, there's going to be a void in here because that's coming out. That's what we're after. So we've got our rough shape now into the pot. Now I'm just going to flatten off the top to see what height we're dealing with. And we're there, lock the tool rest up, spin it by hand, it all spins okay. Now we just take some of this off of here. Another cut there. That's going to be the top of our lathe coliform. Now I'm going to get rid of this face shield because that's like an oven underneath that. I'm quite comfortable now I've got rid of the loose stuff to put on my safety glasses.
Oh, they were just asking about that.
What's that?
When are you going to get rid of your face shield?
An improvement, yes?
They can't see.
They can't see.
No, nothing's aimed at your face.
Ah, nothing's aimed at my face, so you've missed it. Well, my face shield is off. So now, the wood is solid. We've got, obviously, a bit of flaky wood because it's rotten, but that's fine. So now we're going to start taking some finer cuts, refine this top shape, and then refine the bottom shape. So I'll probably get a little bit more speed in the lathe now. We won't go through that bounce point there. So we're spinning around about 1,000, 1,100 now. So I'm just going to pick up, raise my handle, pick the cut up, twist in towards the lathe, and then twist away from the lathe. This is all the right hip that's doing the twisting here. I'll pick the cut up here, in towards the lathe, then away from the lathe. And a finer cut there. Now the bounce you can hear, that knocking noise, is the hollow. I just want to see where we're at with that. That's not too bad there. Now I'm going to bring it round the other way. Last week, I know the quality and everything was poor. Hopefully it's better this week.
Yeah.
I described, I think it was last week, when you're designing something, break it into thirds. So thirds going with my neck here, and the other 2/3 are coming this way, and that should give us a nice balanced piece. So now I'm just going to bring this curve round, picking up the cut. Keep your mouth shut so I don't get a mouthful of shavings. And don't say that'll be a first. Into there, something like that. Let's have a look at that. That's better. Right, so we need a little fine cut along there. So a couple of finer cuts now. It was lucky I could find a piece of wood to do the demo with, really, wasn't it? I've struggled for a bit of wood over here. There we go, we'll lock that down. Don't tell Mrs. Oliver I said that. She wouldn't agree. So now I'm just fine cuts round. I'm looking at the horizon of my pot to see my shape. Well, I thought this was dryish, but I think it's a little bit wettish, but that'll be fine for the demo. If I was doing this in real time, I would probably part turn this, and then it'll be a piece that will stick on the floor. But for the purpose of this, we're going to take it to a finish. I've just got to do a few real fine cuts just to tidy up the grain. So I'm just laying the cutter on the wood here and taking virtually nothing off, deep in concentration, and we just brush that around.
This record, you sound like you're in a recording studio this weekend.
I've taken a chunkier cut here because I wasn't happy with this top curve, so I'm just looking at the horizon. I want that to flow up to the top. Let's get that off of there. That's better. I'm happier with that now. The beauty of being the wood turner, it's your design. So you can change it at any time. Yeah, it's nice and gentle through here. Get that cut up. Slight lift of the handle to pick the cut up. Got a little bit of wood just chipped out on my gouge there. There. Let's have a look at that now. Always use your fingers. Yeah. Make sure your curve flows. Now we're going to come back and tidy this bottom bit up. And just got to be careful with it, chucking the tool rest that everything's clear. And now I'm just going to bring this shape round just off this side. So I'm picking up and coming back the other way towards the chuck. I've got a bump just about there I want to get rid of. Yeah. A difficult thing to know, that's all right, when you've got hollows and stuff on it, is where the bumps are. And there's a little bump just through here, so I need to tidy that up. Now I'm going to come the other way. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm going to drop the tool rest down a little bit first. Just want to get down lower. There. I'm cutting just on the round centre. So I'm just going to bring this around and take a fine cut off the tip of the tool. That seems to have got the bump. I'm just brushing the back of the bevel to pick this cut up. And I've got another bump at the bottom here. So I raise my handle, take that in, put the handle up, twist into the lathe, just rolling the tip over there. There. That's better, much better. Right, so there's our outside shape done. What we're going to do now is sand this. So Joe the sander, or extractor man, stick the extractor on. I'll get rid of the tool rest. I'm going to finish the outside on this piece, just quickly. So, I've got a bit of 80 grit in here, come round. Of course that went bang. Joe was slamming the shutters around on the extractor system. So I'm just working this around. Now where it's a bit wet, it's started to clog up the sandpaper. So I'll just put a fresh bit in. Just want to try and dry the surface out a bit so we can add a bit of colour. Following the curve round. There. Now you can see what's coming off on there. We're getting smoother. A few little areas just down here. You can see it's wet through here. That's what's clogging us up. That's going to be a void there. That will all come out. This is our void there. Right, so another bit of sandpaper. Go again. Now the 80 grit is going to remove my marks. The other grit just give me the finished surface. That looks better. Right. Now, I'm going to reduce this base down a bit before I carry on sanding. Because when I take this off the lathe, I want that curve to go right under.
Do you do anything different when you're colouring wet on dry wood?
No, I don't. Normally I wouldn't colour wet wood. I would leave it until it's dried out. This bit of horse chestnut has been sitting outside for a couple of years. It may be longer. So I thought it would be fairly dry, but obviously where there's a lot of rot, that's become very porous, so it's just sucked in any moisture, so I don't think it will ever dry. But this piece is just going to be for the purpose of this demo, so I can show you my process. So all I'm doing is taking this waste wood down now. So I can work on the underside, and I just want to finish this curve. More under like that, that's better. That's better. Now we can see where we're at here. So I'll just get the sander in there. I'm using a larger head sander for a reason. A, it's quicker, and B, I was just thinking if I've got a few voids, I don't want a little sander head catching the voids. I'll just bring this around. Right, that's got it. So now we'll go through the other grits quite quickly, just to get a finished surface. So we went with 80, now we're on 120. $180. 240. $320. $400. And then lastly, 600. There we go. So now you can see she's sanded up. And now we're going to apply some colour. The reason I'm applying colour, there is a reason at this moment in time, because some of this is going to come out as we hollow. I want the colour to be on the outside, so when I come through, the colours, I don't get it into the voids. I want them to be clear. So what we're going to use is a bit of chestnut spirit stain. So on with the old marigolds. Got my face shield down somewhere safe. Bit of the old cheap paper towel, that's all we need. And we're applying our first colour, which in this case is going to be a blue. I'll use a royal blue. Get that onto there and just give this a quick rub on. Get right down to the base there. That's important. Now with the burr and obviously with the damp areas, this is going to sink in deeper in some areas than others, which is fine. That's what we want. So we'll get this in. I'll get right in the bottom there. I don't mind if it hits the waste wood. I just want to make sure I'm in there. That's it. All over. Right, so now we've got a nice blue pot. If I wanted to leave it a deep blue, what I would start with is black. And I would do the same process that I'm going to do now, but I'd start with black and build up a couple of coats of black. Then I'd put the blue on and it gives it a real depth. Now on my sander, I'm going to drop back to 320. Oop. And sand this off. Now what I will do is try and dry this stain out a little bit. So, and for the dry shavings, get the tool rest out of the way, turn it on and just burnish it up a little bit. That should dry them out enough. And now I'm going with me 320. And all I'm trying to do is remove some of the stain. Now, where the wood's a bit wet and the stain's a bit wet, it's clogged the paper up, so I'm going to use some more 320 and give it another go. I want to lose a bit more stain than I'm losing. If this don't work, then I'll drop back to 240. There we go. Round there, that looks a bit better. That neck a bit. There. Now you can see we've got clean wood in there, we've got clean areas in here, darker areas, lighter areas. So now what I'm going to do is apply some green. I can use the same piece of paper towel, it doesn't much matter, because I'm blending colours. And what I'm going to do is get the green definitely in all the light areas. Through there, through this bit here, up onto that, round that neck where that sporting is, up onto the shoulder here, in there, dab it in the areas here where the paint's been removed. And you can see now how that's suddenly bringing that grain to a different life. Well, I hope you can anyway. I don't know how good the colour resolution is on your screens, but it's doing that and it's giving it some depth now. Just in there, there, bit there, get that, bit on the neck there. There's a little bit of dab in there. That's about it. That lighter area there. So now what we're going to do is dry that out. Now, I did something rather naughty earlier. So I did something rather naughty earlier. I nicked Mrs. Oliver's hairdryer, so if we use it quickly and she don't come over here, I'll get away with it. So, I don't know if you've noticed, but I don't really need a hairdryer anymore. So, what am I unplugging? I'm going to unplug that, plug this in. Oh, here we go. Oh, another battery. Give it a bit of, oh yeah, there. Boy, I haven't heard one of these going in my hand for 30 years. So, we're just going to dry this out a bit. Under normal conditions, you just have to wait for your spirit stains for 15-20 minutes, but if you can't be bothered to wait, nick your wife's hairdryer when she ain't looking, and then see if you can get it back in without her knowing. That's a good idea. One of my favourite tricks. As long as I don't drop it and break it, because that'll be costly, she'll want a new one. There we go. There. So, turn that off. Now, we'll sand this again, just with a 320. because we're still trying to remove a bit of colour. And then we give it another sand. Now we've got some light areas again, and we've got greens in different shades. And what we're going to do now is add a different tone of blue. First one was royal blue, and this one is just blue. So we'll get some blue on the areas with no paint. Have it in on these swirly burry bits. It's in there. What's that?
Just said your wife standing behind you.
Shh. So we're just dabbing this in, picking up all the pieces. Yeah. And then we can look at it, spin it round, and see if there's sort of void, big areas of one colour, and just dab a bit into there. There's a lot of deep blue there. We'll get that bit of light blue through there. There, that's it. Back to the hairdryer. Someone played some loud music so she can't hear it. That'll do it. Keep looking out the door, see if I can see her coming. I could be a hairdresser. Yes, be good with a hairdryer. There we go. I could add that to my talents of cake baking, gardening, grass cutting, and now I could be hairdressering. There we go. That looks all right. So now we go back in, but this time I'm going to go in with 400 grit because I want to remove less stain. So I'll get the spin on, going with the 400 grit. That's looking quite nice. And now we mess around. We can keep adding colours and such like. Someone says something untoward, Joe's laughing.
Duncan said very few people will be willing to be mounted on a lathe to have their hair done.
There we go, madam. We're just going to put you on 300 as we do this. So now I'm going in with a bit of dark blue. Just there. In a couple of areas where, again, the stain is removed. There. Now this burr, I don't know how well the camera's picking it up, but this burr here looks stunning with all these colours into it. As I said last week, I've learnt the colour wheel and bits and pieces like that, but by and large, I use the colour schemes that the masters have used. One of my favourites is the lily pad, so a lot of my work has the lily pad sort of colour palette by Monet. There we go. So we've got some blue in there. Now you don't want to see me using air dryer for the next hour, so we're just going to give this one more coat in a minute. Dry this out. And then my next grit will be 600. And normally, if I'm doing this, I might repeat the 320 for 10, 15, 20 coats until I start seeing the colours as I want them to be. And then I slowly go down through the grits, and I might do 3 or 4 coats with a 400 and then some with a 600. I just keep it going. And a lot of the times when I'm doing this sort of work, I will start and then leave it till tomorrow or the day after, before I start putting any finish on, until I'm completely satisfied with the colour that I've got. Now this is 600. Blend that in there, bring it round. I'm not sanding so heavy now, and that's the way I would do it if I was doing multiple coats.
Alistair Clark said, do you prefer the chestnut or the Hampshire sheen intrinsic?
I like both. If I'm doing a burr like this, I prefer to use the Spirit stay. If I'm doing colouring sycamore, colouring bowls, or just putting a solid colour on something, then I prefer the Hampshire sheen or intrinsic colours by mine. So, but I prefer this on a burr. I've tried the water-based dyes, and there's just something with the Spirit base that I like. Although where this piece of wood was wet, we've got a wet piece here, actually the watercolours might have been a bit better, but this is the way I do this sort of work, so I'm just sort of showing you what I do with this. Now, what I'm going to do is just give this a final coat of yellow, and this should blend it together and turn it into a sort of depths of green. And the yellow will pick up any of the light bits of burr swirl that has got no colour in it, and it will blend in the other tones of blue and give us this sort of green effect. Now once I've done this, if I wanted to, I could go back over it with a blue. I could sand back a bit more and go again, and that's what I would do under normal conditions. But now you can start to see this coming through here, like so. Now I'm going to get Joe to pass me some red in that cupboard there, Joe. There's some red. Give us some red and white. Be careful of that cable for the phone. And here I am going to use red and white.
Red and white.
We're going to add a bit of red and white. Now, why are we adding red and white? Well, as I said, I like the lily pads. So lily pads are red and white. So I'm just going to put a little bit of red in here in places. You've got to be careful when you're using red. If you're using red with your back to the door and someone comes in and shouts at you, and you spill it and you get red right the way down in front of you, then you turn round, and if it happens to be your wife, she screams because she thinks you've made you jump and stab yourself. Well, not that I've done that once or twice before. So now, you see, I'm just stippling in a bit of red to enhance this a little bit more. Right, so, and I'm really picking up these areas where no stain or dye is stuck to. Now, and then I might go around and just dab in a little bit of white as well. Look, it looks like it needs to shake up. Make sure you put the lid on firmly when you're shaking up your paints, otherwise it goes all over you and the lathe. Now there, oh, that looks more like white. I'm just going to grab some white on the back there. Just dab in a bit of white and just blend in reddy tones in. It sort of pastelises it. In there. So, red and white. There. Now. That's it. Something like that. So, now what I would normally do is give this another, let this dry properly, another light sand, and then I'd start putting my finish on here. On this case, what I'm going to do is spray a lacquer on it a bit, but for the time being, we'll get on with the hollowing process. So first I've got to turn my lathe speed down, get rid of my lathe centre, and mount in my Forstner bit and drill down. We want to get a depth, be that line there. On my extension bar, I've got lines drawn up. Oh, I forgot what one it was. Hold on. Just beyond that big one there. So I put that towards me. They're stepped around the shaft to try not to confuse me too much, which is not difficult. I'll turn my lathe on. I'm going to spin it around about 500 for this Forstner. Oh yeah. Off with the extractor. Off with the marigolds. Well, they make your hands sweat. Marigolds. Go there. And then I'm just drilling down that tip. I could have turned that off. I want to try and get this fairly straight. There we go. Now we're entering the form. She's bouncing around a bit. Now don't be tempted to drill too deep because the wet shavings back up on the back of the Forstner a bit and it can soon get stuck in there. So just go sort of an inch, 25mm or less at a time. Just winding the quill back down so I haven't got too much quill overhanging. There, lock my tailstock off again and wind her in again. Now I can just draw her back by sliding my tailstock back out in. Oh, it's so soft in there, I can just push it in. This will be interesting. There's a lot of rot in the middle. Just going to go to about there. So, I'm not too sure how this is going to hollow with all that rot in there. Wet wood hollers quite easily and quickly. What I don't want is the whole piece flying apart, but I should think we'll be alright. We'll find out in a minute. As I said earlier, what could possibly go wrong? So, I'm just going to rotate the headstock out, because it's easier. Joe's going to change the camera angles and bring my tool rest up. What I'm aiming to do is find my hollowing tool. Right. So I've got my little Simon Oakes hollowing tools. There's a straight tip and a hook tip, and normally what you do is take out the straight tip and mount the hook tip into the bar and vice versa. Because I'm lazy, I've got one with a straight tip, one with a hook tip, saves me having to mess about. We're going to use the hook tip to get on this undercut in a minute, but just to get it started, we're just going to hollow here, just gently, because that Forstner's not gone in straight, it's bouncing the tip around a bit, so you can hear that vibration there. So I'm just gently feeding the tip. Then I'm just going to adjust out of this tool rest just a tad. I'm aiming to cut, as I look at the piece, at around about 8 o'clock. And I'm just a little bit above that. I want gentle cuts, so we'll go again. Now we're spinning at about 800. I've got a bit of bounce in the lathe, so I'm going to just try to go through the bounce and see if that's better. There's no real pressure on this cutting tip because the wood's quite fragile. Now I'm just tilting my body around so my right hip is going in towards the lathe. Just below centre, I'm cutting at 8 o'clock. I'm allowing the wood to come down onto the cutter and it works fine. And I have the cutter tilted over to about 8 o'clock, 45 degrees, and I brush it in. If I put it at centre, 9 o'clock, and add the cutter to 9 o'clock, I can really rip some wood away. And with a bare edge cutter like this, in that is a very aggressive cut. And because this wood is fragile, I'm preferring to cut it a little bit lower and a little gentler. And if I'm teaching hollering, this is the way I get people to start. Less chance of a catch. And there's no pressure on the cutter. I'm just guiding this tool around Now I'm picking up my drill hole in the middle. Now the vibration you can hear is because the Forstner bit went in bouncing around. So the hole in the middle is not completely round. It's got sort of a off-centre feel to it. So I'm just working the cutter down to smooth that out. I'm just feeling my way round in the middle. And as I come down on the inside of the body more, I'm having to rock myself into the lathe further to get that undercut. Now what I've just stopped the lathe for, is probably out of shot, is I'm removing the tail stock because that's going to get in my way. I'm just going to adjust this tool rest. Now this is getting full of shavings, so I've got a industrial vacuum cleaner. You should vacuum it out rather than blow it out, or you could fish around with a spoon or a rod or something. We've got quite a big opening here. If it was a very small opening, I found the vacuum cleaner is the best way to do it. But do not tell Mrs. Oliver you've seen me use a vacuum cleaner, whatever you do. So there. So now I can get my body more into the lathe. So I'm just using the straight tip at the moment. Just feeding this in. And now I can twist myself into the lathe. That's picking that hole up in the middle. And this stuff's flying away now in the middle. That's where the rot is. Now as I'm doing this, I can feel my cutter just getting pushed away from the edge. There's too many shavings in there, so we have to stop that, clean them out quickly. Back to the hollering. I'm just rocking my body around, following the curve. So I'm getting myself into the middle of the lathe, something sticking in my leg. Hold on, let's get rid of that. That's better. Ah, that's better. That was me sanding disc boxes. I had them on a shelf under my lathe. Now if you start getting the noise, vibration through your tool, it means you're pushing it too hard. And with this sort of shape, the shavings are going to build up quite quickly inside, so you'll have to keep stopping the lathe and emptying them out. You just want to come in, pick that centre hole up. I'm right over the lathe now because I've removed so much in the middle. To get in there, this is where I have to start going in with a hook tip. Go back in, but now I'm going in with a hook tip because I want to start undercutting, so that gives me a bit more scope to get to the edge. And it's all about just a little bit of feel. There. We'll get a little bit more out of here. Parting tools on the floor, nearly fell over that. Glasses for a minute. Right, I've got a bit more depth to get in the middle there. I'll go back to my straight tip tool. Take that middle bit out. I'll just gently feed her in. Oh, not like that. That wasn't gentle, was it? That's better. Now I can't get with the straight tip round, so we've undercut quite a way. So I just want to tidy up that bottom. There. Vacuum that out. Go, can you pass over some calipers? Just behind you on this post. There, that'll be fine. Right, I've just got my thickness calipers, so I can see what my wall thickness is. The trouble with hollow forming is you work downwards there, and then when you get to the bottom you're working backwards here, and you get an overlap about here, and that's where your weak point is. And if you overlap too much, suddenly you've made a very nice shallow dish on a stand, and this bit you chuck. So bit like going through the bottom of your bowl. Can't hear me over that. Bit like going through the bottom of your bowl. You don't want to do it, and everybody else wants to see you do it. So we just take it easy. So with my calipers here, I can now see I'm about 15 mil there. I'm 30 mil there. and I'm about 30 mil there. So I know that I'm on target. I'm just making sure that my wall thickness is similar all the way down. So I'm building up a picture in my head. So I'll just come down here now. And then just follow this around. I'm watching the angle come round, visualising the cutter with my outside shape. As I say, yeah. Now we're going to stop and vacuum that out and double check that. Trouble with wet wood, it sticks on the side a little bit. As I say, now if I was turning this properly, I'd get this down a piece like this to around about 20 mil. Don't mention the air dryer. Mrs. Oliver's just turned up. Whistle or something. Right, so
I said to her to come in and say, have you seen my hairdryer?
we're just going to bring this down. Oh, caliper it. He didn't caliper it. He nearly went for it. You nearly had something entertaining as the pieces of wood came in too. But I don't want to do that.
Do you mark the shaft of your hollowing tool so that you can see the angle of the cutting edge?
When you start, definitely. What you want to do...
You realise they can't hear the question you're answering, right?
Oh, right. The question was, do I mark the shaft so I can see the angle of my cutting edge? When I teach this for the first time, I do. I put a black line on the shaft so the student can see where you're at. But if you look on the Simon Oak, we've got 2 screws there. So if I know the screws are pointing up to 11 o'clock, I'm about the right angle for me. But people have got a lot to think about. So I put a black felt line down the shaft and they can just vary that. Once you get... experienced at it, you can just feel by the cut if you're a bit open or a bit closed. So that's the way I do it, and teaching it, as I say, yes, I would put a line there. So
if it goes bang, keep the top off and make a nice lampshade.
Thank you very much. I don't know who said if it goes bang.
Stuart Rogers.
Stuart, thanks very much. Yeah, it would make a nice lampshade. So with that measure, I know I'm just a little bit thick, just about here. Now what's happening is I'm having to get right over the lathe bed to get this undercut. So because I've got a rotating headstock, it's far easier for me just to keep talking, turn the vacuum cleaner on, and I bet all you can hear is woo. I just lost me track, really. I just keep taking this away and keep measuring. Now, as I said, if it was going to stay wet part turn on something like this, about 20 mil would be where I stop. So somewhere around here, I'm about 20 mil, and that's where I'd stop. But what we're going to do is I just want to see if I can get through here so we get the void, so you can get the visual idea of the piece. So we are going in again. So what I'm going to do now is actually turn the speed down a little bit to about 900, because I'm sure you don't want to see this thing fly up on the lathe. And I'm going to rotate my headstock out just a little bit further, because I'm having to get over the bed a bit further. So if you've got a rotating headstock, make the most of it. You know, it makes life easier. You see now I've got plenty of room here to get in here and just get round there. Now, if you've got a narrow neck, I'll show you something now. Let me get another tool. If you've got a narrow neck and a big undercut, then a fixed hook tool is where you might have to go for something with an... Oh, turned the wrong thing on there. I turned the lathe on. I meant to turn the vacuum on. So then you want an articulating head tool. There's a few on the market. Crown do one. Robert Saltby do the Ultima. That's all right if you've got a big entrance you can deal with. And then I've got the Rollies. Now I've tried them all. And for this project, I'm just going to use this little Rolly Monroe, and as you can see, the head here rotates. So I can, with the Allen screws, rotate the head to a different angle to help us get in. I'm going to try this. So now I'm going to use this tool. So I have to come in and work out where it's picking up the cut. Something there. Yeah, you could use, Paul, yeah, you could put a flat spot on the handle to work out your upright, and then your thumb would fill that flat spot. And you could actually file in three flat spots. A flat one, so you're at 90 degrees, 9 o'clock. You could put another flat spot to the side so that your angle's at 45 degrees, and then you know that you're upright and at 45 degrees. There's no reason why you can't do that. Hold on, I've got a tool balanced on my lathe bed, which is not a good idea. Let's move that out of the way. And I'm just going in with this Rolly now. There we go. Now we've just started to puncture through at this top point. So just one more vacuum. I'm just going to go a little bit deeper to expose this hole. there, so I just need to go a little bit deeper in. Just here somewhere. That's how we're done there. A little bit more. Check me calipers, make sure that I'm not over missing the mark here. No, 15, just a bit there, 15. So I'm just a little bit thick on this shoulder where we want to punch through to. So I'm just going to make sure I can reach that. That's about there. I can set it up on the tool, turn that on. So we're there. I'm just going to a little bit more, one more cut, as they say. One more cut. There. So now we've got our void in the top. If I carry on, I can get a void here, a little void here. I thought I was going to get more voids with the shape of the piece to start with, but it landed up with not so many voids. But hey, I can probably might be able to get a void to show through there. We'll just try a little bit more. I want to get into about this sort of depth now, about there. So we'll just try this and see if it is. Now my shavings are clogging up the cutter inside the hollow form. We're not there yet. Yeah, I'm just gonna be done. Right, so I think I'm gonna leave it about there. I can't get in here, it might take a bit longer. Now I'm just gonna tidy up the neck of this with a little tool. My little 3/8 bowl gouge. I'm just gonna rub the back of the bevel and take a few fine cuts. Tidy up that grain on the end. These are real fine cuts. I'm just brushing this gouge along the front with a lift of the handle. All quiet, concentration. There we go. Little ugly on the top because of the it's wet. Normally I wouldn't go to a finished piece here. So what I'm going to do now is just part this off so you can see it off of the base for you, so you can see what the visual should look like. So I'll bring the tool rest round, bring it up onto centre height, thereabouts, here. And now I'm just going to part in with a parting tool. Joe, can you pass over? Right on the end, there's a long parting tool in that rack. To your left, that one, that's it. Right, the little parting tool, bit short for this, so I've got this longer parting tool that you should be able to see on the camera in about 20 seconds or so. So I'm just going to go in with this now. Part this off. I overlap the cut. I can make it as wide as I like because I've got waste wood here. This is where we find out if I drill too deep. Now the wood is very, very soft. So I'm not going to go too mad with this parting tool. I can see the piece now wobbling, so, and I can see a little bark inclusion in there. As soon as I see it start to wobble, I thought, ooh, stop that. So we'll get the saw. Cut that off there. Now what I would normally do, can we adjust that camera around a bit, Joe? Joe's on the camera, he's on the job. Oh, earpiece is out, everything's out. So, there we've got a little coloured hollow form. If I bring this in closer, there. Maybe the overhead camera might be a better shot. Let's try that. There, you might see the colours. There's a better quality camera over here.
This way, there you go.
There, you can see the colours there, and this is where the colours really take effect, just through here. There. Now what I would normally do is I'd sand off the bottom, put my maker's mark on it. Obviously I'd give this, probably let it dry, and then sand inside of the bare wood, and then lacquer the whole piece with a spray lacquer. But that's how I go about creating a hollow form with a bit of horse chestnut burr and using the grain of the wood to create the colours. And I think it looks quite effective, so I enjoy doing this. That's out of the camera. Okay, let's switch back to another camera. Oh, try that one. There we go. If I lean like that, it might not look too bad because Joe's put the camera down and it's leaning over at an angle. That's our little hollow form, little coloured hollow form. Now, it's the stand, it's on something. Now we are definitely. Eh?
It's not the stand.
Well, well, it doesn't matter. Just hold it upwards a little bit. That'll do it. Right. So now that's a little hollow form. It's done. I'd like to thank you all for watching. Thank you for your support. I hope you're all managing to get through this lockdown in a reasonable fashion. Now I've stopped now, 11:45. It gives you time to get a cup of tea, because at 12 o'clock there's another live demo by Martin Saban-Smith on YouTube if you want to watch that. And at 7:30 this evening, Emma, the little tiny turner, is going live and she's also doing a demo. So today you're spoilt for demonstrations. There's 3 that I know of: me, Martin, Emma, tiny turner, tiny, down here somewhere, little girl, you've seen her. So I hope you've enjoyed the morning. We've got through it without a hitch. Unbelievable. So thanks very much. I'll be back next Saturday at 10. I'll send out notifications and we'll do a project maybe with a bowl and a bit of decoration. I'll give it some thought. But thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Good luck. Enjoy Easter. Stay safe.